and certainly not torturing if you think it was unsolitary confinement.
How would you describe his reaction?
Bradley was whisked away by military police before we could even see the rest react. But we just heard from his lawyer, David Coons. They were both in tears when they were whisked away together, but it was Bradley that was cheering Coons up. He said, "It's okay. You did your best. I'll be okay." And so it's pretty remarkable and speaks to Bradley's spirit.
It could have actually been worse for Manning. He was facing up to 90 years. He was given a 35-year sentence. The fact that he was elected not to spend the rest of his life in prison must feel like some kind of a victory for you, the supporters of Mr. Manning?
Well, we certainly, I think we're appreciative that it's down to 60 years, but that's kind of how the government works by over-prosecuting. They over-prosecute with the enemy charge, and then they get picked up the amount of that conviction. So they ask for something outrageous like 60 years, and they get 35 years. I think we should keep in mind that you know the whistleblowers, the people he exposed, those who perpetrated the crimes that he exposed, are not on trial, and that's the real injustice here.
But last weekend and again today, in a written statement issued through his lawyer, Bradley Manning apologized for his actions and said they had hurt people and had hurt the United States. He acknowledged that. Don't his actions and admissions merit some form of punishment?
Bradley actually said in today's statement if they had harmed him, and he does certainly not want Chris to bring any harm on fellow U.S. members. He thought he believed he was shooting documents that would document past actions and therefore not put any future operations in danger. And he realizes that he made his fellow military look bad. I mean, the U.S. was embarrassed and spent a lot of money attempting to locate sources who could have been identified. But as we heard in open court, no deaths or casualties were actually linked to these releases. No deaths could be connected to diplomatic or military cables. And the fact is Bradley has already been punished. He spent 3.5 years in jail. More than a year of that was in solitary confinement, which the military judge even ruled unlawful, and which the UN torture chief called cruel, inhuman, and degrading. So Bradley has certainly already served that punishment.
Your group and Mr. Manning's lawyer have announced a new campaign today. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we're moving forward on all available fronts, and the foremost among them is what could get Bradley released today, which would be a presidential pardon or a commutation to time served from President Obama. Obama campaigned on a platform of transparency, accountability in government, and this is his biggest and best opportunity to live up to that, to those values, and should free Bradley Manning today.
What do you think the chances are that he ever will be pardoned, given President Obama's stated views on this and other leaks cases and his actions?
Well, I think that depends on public opinion and perception and the pressure that we put on him. Obama does what's politically popular, and more people than not think that Edward Snowden, for example, is a whistleblower. More people are supporting Bradley Manning every day. So I think if we make it politically unpopular for President Obama to continue imprisoning Manning, I think that's our best chance.
During the trial, we learned more about Bradley Manning's upbringing, and I'm wondering what you learned that stood out for you about his past.
Yeah, Bradley's been abused long before he was even in trial. He was neglected by 2 alcoholic parents. He drifted from home to home, was even homeless for a little while. Cared for by his 11-year-old sister when he was just a baby. And he could see what drove him to the military. He wanted to get the GI Bill. He wanted to have the U.S. Army pay for his college. And so we learned a lot about the reasons why he wanted to join the Army, why he is as resilient as he is today.
There were also revelations, though, when he did take a stand briefly to make a plea for clemency. We also heard about his gender identity disorder. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, and it's now known as gender identity dysphoria. Bradley was considering transitioning to living life as a woman, and clearly a military forward operating base, a U.S. Army base in Iraq is not the best environment for that. Military doctors called it a hyper-masculine and openly hostile environment. Bradley didn't have any channels or outlets to seek guidance on that. Certainly would have been under a lot of stress and pressure.
Do you think any of that had any impact on the judge as she decided sentence?
It's really hard to tell. I think she must have seen someone who was not treated well by his fellow soldiers. Was isolated by the way that they treated him. They basically served him a run. They made fun of him for being homosexual and certainly did not treat him the way they would other soldiers.
Given all of that, then, how do you think he's going to manage behind bars? Do you think he's ready for a long, long sentence?
Well, that's yet another reason that we should be working to free him as soon as possible. But David Coombs, his lawyer, has said that he would be there to help transgender rights and anything else, any other kind of mental health that man might need. So I feel confident that he has some good assistance there.
What message do you think today's sentence sends to other potential leakers?
It's clearly trying to send a chilling effect message. It's trying to send the message that the U.S. will bring the full weight of the law and then some against anyone who wants to disclose its ugly secrets. It's attempting to prevent the sources from talking to journalists. And in some respects, that's working. We've heard some journalists saying that their sources are drying up. Some soldiers do not want to talk to the press because of how Manning has been treated. And that's pretty, that's a disturbing message that our military is sending.
Mr. Fuller, thank you very much.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Goodbye.
Nathan Fuller is a member of the Bradley Manning Support Network.
Hey, Finny Fin.
Reached him in Fort Meade, Maryland.
Sit. Good girl. What a pretty girl. Yeah. What a good girl. Are you a good girl, Jadaju? Yeah? What a pretty girl. And Liza Lou. Liza Lou. Liza needs all the attention. Liza needs all the attention. No, Finny needs all the attention. Oh my goodness. Finny must get very close. Finny must get very close. Finny must grab me with her little curled paws. Ah. Finny.
Well, sometimes the guys just gotta let it. Today, Finance Minister Jim Flaherty held his conference at the start of his annual policy retreat in Wakefield, Quebec. The guest list for the retreat
Finny needs a home.
made up of business leaders and academics.
Finny needs a real home. Uh-oh.
30 minutes from Ottawa. That prompted this question from some
Does anyone want to give Finny a home?
David Aiken.
Finny's up for grabs.
Bear with me for a second.
Yeah.
Curry last year, ATI found the last 2011 retreat cost $43,000 to taxpayers. This is your seventh. Let's say we're into tens of thousands of dollars now to meet off the record with 20 people. None of them are this year from organized labor, I should point out. You have the department, the House Economic Standing Finance Committee goes all over the country to meet with people, give you advice. You have your monthly lobbyist registration. I can look at all the lobbyists you've met with to give you advice. You've got a caucus full of MPs that will give you advice about the budget. What on earth is the value of this retreat? Isn't it a colossal waste of money to come here, stay in this nice hotel on our dime? What can you name one thing that came out of here that you put in your budget? Here's my rant. Well, I appreciate I appreciate the rant. Yes, we have put things in the budget that have arisen out of the policy retreats. Listen, it's a good thing to listen. Politicians don't listen enough. And the more we listen, the more we learn. And the more, I think, intelligent we can be in our policy choices. This is one time of the year in August where I can get a lot of CEOs together, where I can get a lot of academics together, where they're not busy with normally running their corporations and so on. And I think it's incredibly invaluable to the Canadian people. So I'll continue to hold the policy retreats. I think they're, as I say, invaluable. For the record, that was Finance Minister Jim Flaherty answering a question from Sunday journalist David Aiken. This policy retreat kicked off today at the Wakefield Mill Hotel and Spa in Quebec, just up the Gatineau River from Ottawa.
What you got? Jada's got glove. You gonna get it? Get it, Liza. Get that glove, Liza.
Japan's nuclear agency has raised the alert level for the Fukushima nuclear plant. The power station was originally damaged during the 2011 tsunami, and it seems contaminated water may have been leaking